what do I really think is the problem why we don't produce great science or great translational science? This is the question that has been posed, and I will try to do that. But before I do that, I will just say one thing, that Indian society, I believe, has great uh, respect for science and scientists. Wherever I go, I get very great respect from the real society where I go outside. So there is no problem from society not wanting to promote us, nor the government, which has always supported science at some base level, whatever the circumstances. I believe we should turn the mirror a little bit inwards and ask ourselves, scientists, why things are not going right, or at least going the way we want them to be. And one of the problems is that we should really work on problems that are worthwhile doing. We have to choose our problems that need to be solved, not just the problems that we can solve. And that, I think, is the single most greatest problems. When I talk with my colleagues, I find that many of them are in their comfort zones and they really do not want to come out of that comfort zone. And then most problems that are worth solving are really things you have to work on. You have to upgrade your own skills, your own knowledge, and it can mean, at the level of thought, at the level of instrumentation, at the level of programs, and so on. But we really need to first of all choose the right problems that are worth solving. The point is, when I say that, many people ask me, oh, but that's risky. You see, most of us do not think about the risk while going helmetless on a motorcycle, but we think that this is a lot of risk. So the point is, in Indian science, it's wonderful. There is no risk at all. If you fail in a project, there is no penalty, but if you do succeed, there are huge rewards like the Bhatnagar Award. All right. So I would always say that take risks in science, go for your dreams, try to follow your dreams, and try to pursue in one line of thought for long enough. It's often the time of length that one spends in one particular stream of thought that actually gives rise to success. But of course, one should not keep forever working on it, jump out of it once things don't start working well enough. That also has to be done. Now, the other real problem which Professor Rao posed, what is the problem we face? See, one of the problems that I faced was we do not have confidence that things work out in India. We always say, oh, this is not possible in India, this will never work, and so on. We should have a really good belief in science that things work out, and we should actually develop a confidence in our colleagues that they can make things work too. And this is where actually when planners and funders talk to us, we find that they have very little confidence in us that we can actually get things working for them. So that's where the real issue is. We should not have cynicism, but we should have a healthy skepticism. Definitely. For example, about few years ago when I was trying to work with DRDO on micro nano structured materials for optical purposes, the key refrain was, oh, these things will never work in India. But I'm very happy to say that the same DRDO people today, after funding me, now ask what is the shelf life of the products. So yes, definitely progress is possible and it does happen. See, there is often an attitude that translational research is not particularly academically fruitful. But I think even very, very brash questions from very hard funders like the defense forces or can be quite enriching academically, because once you take it up, you always find that when you do translational research, there are enough number of fundamental questions that arise and that can also become academically interesting and productive. And that is something I have found it has enriched me personally, at least. Now, how do you really translate research? And there, I believe, startup companies by students who work in our universities and institutions are the key to success. See, unless there is a profit margin, a profit motive to it, nobody is really going to spend the time translating research, particularly when other kind of rewards like awards, etc., stop coming beyond a point when you're actually doing translational research. So, I would really like to give one last example, which is I had some colleagues in DRDO or DAE and so on, and I asked them, why don't you patent this work you have done? It's so nice. It can really be, it needs to be protected. They say, well, as part of a government unit, though I get named as an inventor, there is no incentive for me to actually go through the trouble of patenting something, writing out the patent application and so on. I think it's very important to incentivize the innovators in the government laboratories, because it is the government funded institutions and laboratories which actually are the largest number of researchers in India. And by depriving them of any incentives to actually patent their innovations, what we are doing is to create an environment where they say that I will patent it after I retire. I'll patent at least it as a thought process, you know. So this is, I believe, I would like to actually give a very firm suggestion to any administrators or planners here. Please take this up. Draw up an incentive program that actually rewards innovators in government laboratories and government funded institutions, so that they share in the royalties or something like that when the patent is finally licensed. This actually would promote a very large level of innovation in our government laboratories and government funded institutions, and I think that will actually go a long way into translating the fundamental basic research and the applied science research that happens in these laboratories into society. And that's very important, because society truly believes that we Indian scientists will deliver, and we will actually ameliorate a lot of their difficulties in life. So it's our responsibility to do that as well. Thank you very much for your attention.